Welcome to the Danette May Show, where you'll receive profound breakthroughs, courage to break old patterns, and live into your soul's purpose. Each week, I will bring you epic guests and live coaching to remind you of your power. You have the ability to achieve extraordinary things, and the time to start is now. This is a really unique podcast episode because I'm sitting down, I'm laying on the ground, we've got a fireplace going. I've got my dear friend Anastarr.
Hey.
We were drinking, what is it called?
Fernet Branca.
Fernet Branca.
It has 40 herbs in it, and it's been used for a long time, ancient remedy, and it's a digestif, a liqueur that has been around for many years.
It was originated, this particular blend, 1845, but came before then because it was medicinal.
And then it was one of the only liquors that wasn't prohibited during Prohibition. So
because they weren't sure if it was medicinal or liquor.
Yeah. No, because it is medicinal.
Because it is medicinal.
Yes, they used it for like medicinal purposes.
It is strong. It tastes like an herb medicine, and it has all these medicinal properties, but it does make you feel like you're in another realm. I'm going to be honest, because I am laying on the ground. We are looking out at rainy Colorado weather, and I've been able to be with this beautiful human, Anastarr, and I'm going to try to have this record because what my intention is in opening this container up is that every woman who's listening just feels like she has a seat in the circle with us, and that she's drinking, if she chooses, this medicinal drink with us. And she feels a part of this circle because we are in somewhat of a circle and we're just who we are. Like Anastarr is wearing her sweats and she just got out of the shower. I'm a dirty girl and I'm still in my wet swimsuit from the hot tub. But this is me. This is us just gathered to share.
It's a super raw.
Very raw moment. We just felt really called to do this. And before I let the day slip away, I want to bring you all into this conversation because today is 5/5 as we're recording, and this is a really powerful day for Anastarr, and she's willing to share about this day and why it's so powerful. And if you don't mind just sharing why this day is so powerful and why you're here.
Yeah, it's such an honor, really. And so this would have been, I had a miscarriage back in October. And this would have been my baby's due date, 5/5/25. And it also happens to be my dad's birthday, who also passed away when I was 16. So it's a really special day. And Danette has been such a sweet sister through all of this. And I said this morning, my heart is feeling both tender and grateful. And loss is, there's so much to grief, but it catalyzes something so big and so grand. It really leads to something so expansive, and it changes you forever.
It does.
Yeah, you're never the same. And there's such a big opening that is so unexpected. And we were just talking before we hit record that it's, unless you go through something so extreme like this, it's so hard to really understand and grasp the profound impact that it has.
Absolutely.
Really. And I know that so many people can relate to this, though. You know,
that's why you're willing to talk about it.
Yeah, exactly. And this is, it's sadly a very common thing. Miscarriage and loss in general, it is very common. And when I shared publicly about my miscarriage initially, I had hundreds and hundreds of women reach out. That was really unexpected. I wasn't expecting that. I was just sharing from my heart, out of my own vulnerability and just my own experience. And there were so many people that reached out, so many women that had gone through this that didn't feel they knew how to talk about it.
It's 100% my story.
And when we're going through it, like the grief can be so extreme that, we just don't know until we're through it. And for me, I let go of so many people from my life. That was like a really big piece to it.
To the catalyst of this.
Yeah, like it just happened naturally. So many people were starting to fall away, and so many new people were coming in because I was changing, because I was shifting my frequency so much. And there was just so much that I was stepping into that I didn't even know that I was, but so many people were falling away, and then new people were coming in. And not just that, but even like in my work and everything, like so much was changing.
I think we want to talk about this because I'm imagining, I can feel the women that are listening to this right now. And a lot of them are like me. And when they went through this, there was no social media. And it was actually, if you think about my mom's generation and a lot of the women that are listening, their generation of their moms, it was never talked about. You lost your baby in silence. You lost your baby in this complete, we're not going to talk about it. We don't know how to grieve with you. We don't know how to reconcile this. So you have your process and you do it alone, and then you pick yourself up and carry on. And I want to go back because I'm feeling these women a lot, because they're like, wow, there's 2 women right now openly talking about it. And I want to commend you, Anastarr, for being willing to talk about this on such a raw day. And I want to go back a little bit, because if you don't mind, so that people can find their story in your story. A lot of people know my story, but they don't know your story about this dream you had of being a mom, and then thinking maybe I'm never going to have a baby, and then finding out randomly that you're pregnant when you're alone in Greece, and this journey we're on. Can you take us back there?
Yeah. So I arrived Greece.
What year? 2024.
So this was today's the due date. So this
This
was
is the
9
due date
months
of her
ago.
baby that
Yeah.
she is not. This is the, yeah. Can you put yourself here with us?
Yeah.
Hence why we're drinking this beautiful aperitif.
Yeah. And I'm really celebrating 3 births today. It's my babies and the birth into their new portal, and my dad's, who was born on 5/5, and then myself. This is like a really big new birth for myself. So this is a really special day. And then 5/5, 25, there's a lot of 5s in there. And 5 is all about the star shining. This is all about change, and we are just shining. Let's all shine, like bright, big.
Yes.
So back in Greece, I arrived in Greece in August
Of 2024.
and then 3 days later found out I was pregnant. And I was on a remote island, which I'm not going to name. I'm going to keep that really sacred. But it's a very special island to me. And I was there by myself for a week. I sat with this process of, wow. And I was 37 at the time. I'm 38 now, but I was 37 years old. I have endometriosis, stage 4, and I didn't even think I could get pregnant. So that was a whole other really big surprise and miracle that I experienced with all of this. Was like, I didn't even know that I could get pregnant. So when I placed myself back into this experience, there was so much beauty in it and so much love and joy that I was experiencing at the same time as this fear and like confusion and, oh my goodness, there was
How did
so
this happen?
much.
Yeah.
It was like an equal, wow, I don't even know how
I didn't
to
know this was
process all of this.
possible. Yeah.
So I was with it. And in that week, it was the most transformative week of my life, to be honest, because it put everything into perspective. And when you do experience pregnancy, and I didn't even have the opportunity to experience the full term, like the full pregnancy, but even just going through what I went through, it just puts so much into perspective. Like everything changes, and every little minor thing doesn't even matter anymore. Like any little like
Things that bothered you before probably just
Yeah.
were like, I'm thinking about being a mom right now. What do I need to focus on?
Exactly. Not even that, but it just puts so much into perspective. Like, gosh, it just doesn't matter anymore.
It felt like that. Wow.
Yeah. And so I literally just sat in these Greek waters for a week, just thinking or just feeling like being with this experience. And to be honest, I wasn't with the partner that was the father. I wasn't in love with. He was a friend, and I wasn't in love with him. So that was another thing that I was considering. Like,
How's this going to look?
yeah, what am I going to do? And I had always wanted to be a mom. So it was just this really big.
Actually, I want to say, from knowing you, your greatest dream, from what I gather, is to be a mom.
Yeah.
And your heart is drawn to this dream. This is why this is big. And I think this is okay for every woman who may be understanding the story, is that whether you have children or not, some of us have this deep internal dream of being a mom, and it hits differently when this dream is so real inside the body. It's as real as someone who says, I want to be an author or an artist. It's like the deepest dream that could be realized on this earth plane.
Yeah, it's like this nurturing quality that I've always had. And I know so many women that have had miscarriages and that have this desire that really want to be a mom. And it's innate in so many women. So that was what I was sitting with, was this like, this is the biggest joy I've ever experienced in my life. This is literally a dream come true. And it's not what I thought it would look like.
Yeah.
It's very different than what I thought it would look like. I was sitting with this in Greece, which is my beloved home. And then I finally had my first ultrasound and found out that I had a hematoma in the sac, so I couldn't travel. I had to be very careful. And then I found out I had a very large ovarian cyst. And I didn't even know that I had it. And it was bigger than a grapefruit, this ovarian cyst. And I wouldn't even have known it was there unless I got pregnant.
Yeah.
Unless I had this baby. And yeah, the ultrasound said I couldn't travel. I was in Greece and I couldn't travel. And I was sitting with this, and then I had another ultrasound. At this point, I was 7 weeks pregnant, and I heard my baby's heartbeat for the first time. And I just instantly, it was love at first sight. And I know that a lot of women can relate to this. Like, as soon, I don't know, did you?
I think there's something with the heartbeat. I think there is something with the heartbeat, and like seeing this thing in an ultrasound moving around, it just confirms everything. It's like you can finally wrap your human mind around it.
Yeah.
Even though your spirit's already there, your human mind's catching up.
That was it for me, because there was this 50-50 fear and this 50 joy.
Yeah.
But there was this fear of still, what do I do here? And then as soon as I heard the heartbeat, it was just game over. That was it for me. Like there is an actual heart that's beating, and it was just love at first.
Hearing.
Yeah, beat. And there was a frequency to it.
Yeah.
Like there was this beautiful frequency to this heartbeat that I experienced. I was with my family in Mykonos, where my family lives, and I started to feel this pain.
It's okay to be emotional. She's starting to feel emotion for those who aren't watching, because we're not filming this. And it's okay. Like, I'm glad you're feeling this emotion, and thank you for being so raw. But it might take a minute for the words to come out.
Yeah, I started feeling this pain, and I couldn't get on a flight. I was on Mykonos, and I had to take a ferry ride over to Athens.
Very in pain.
Yeah, it was a 6-hour ferry ride by myself, and I called a doctor, and this was a miracle. Like, this is the power of trust. And yeah, I called a hospital in Athens, and it was a women's hospital. There were, I think, over 200 doctors there, and they connected me with this one doctor by chance. And he got on the phone with me, and the first thing he said to me in his accent, his Greek accent, was, "Don't be scared. I'm here for you."
Wow.
Yeah. He said, "I'm here for you. Don't be scared." And I have 40 plus years of experience. I'm a senior doctor here at RIA Hospital in Athens, and I'm here for you. And then we talked for a little bit, and then he FaceTimed me and made sure
You saw him?
he wanted me to see him. He wanted to make sure that I felt comfortable and safe. So then I met up with him in Athens. I took the ferry ride. I had my huge suitcase with me. I got in a taxi and went straight to the hospital with my big suitcase. I called my doctor, and he came down to meet me. And this doesn't happen in the States. Like, this was part of the whole process. Why I'm so grateful that I was in Greece.
What brings up emotion? When you started to
Well,
say I felt
what's
pain.
coming.
What's coming? Okay.
Yeah.
Because you're just feeling,
'cause,
I feel like I feel pain, but he's got me.
Yeah.
I'm going to get taken care of. We're going to figure out what this is about.
Yeah, because at this point I didn't know what the pain was. I was so confused. I was like, I just wanted to know what was going on.
Yeah.
And I was alone. I was there all by myself. Like, I had my Greek family there, but it wasn't the right energy. And I love them dearly, but it just wasn't the right energy. So I went to meet with my doctor. He took me up to the room, did the ultrasound. He first saw the cyst, and it was a 10-centimeter cyst. And he said, he gave it to me straight, and he said, "This is no joke. Like, you need to get this taken care of. This could kill you. This is no joke." And then he went over to the embryo, and there was no heartbeat.
There wasn't.
So that's when I learned that my baby had passed
I didn't know this.
in my womb. So I had this life-threatening cyst situation, and then my baby is
Not here anymore.
not here in my womb, and I'm here in Greece on the other side of my home. Greece is my home, but I'm in a foreign country and I can't travel. And what does this all mean? Like, what was going through my mind in this moment was I was just numb. There was just this numbness of, what do I do? Or what does this all mean? So my doctor then comes down. He sits in the cafeteria with me for an hour and holds my hand, because I'm completely alone here. And then he holds my hand and he said, "Listen, if your baby hadn't passed in your womb, I would suggest an abortion, because this cyst could have cost your life and your baby's life. And this baby saved your life. This baby came in to save your life."
Because you wouldn't have detected it otherwise.
I never would have known. Yeah, I never would have known unless it were for this baby. So then we scheduled, he also gave me the option, because he said, "You can let this baby pass naturally, or we can schedule an abortion. And that way we can make sure everything is removed."
Yeah. They got to clean it all out for surgery.
Yeah, and then in a lot of cases, you have to go in there anyway and make sure everything's okay.
Yeah.
And then with your situation with the cyst, he just strongly recommended an abortion. I scheduled an abortion the next day, and then actually I had my birthday in Greece, so in between surgeries. So then we scheduled another surgery to remove the cysts, and then they didn't even know until they went in that I actually had 5 cysts total on both ovaries. And so they removed the massive cyst and then 4 other ones. The doctor was able to save my ovaries, though. And
Here we are.
yeah, and here we are. So yeah, it was just a big, it was a massive, yeah.
I mean, I want to help her here because I don't actually think she's fully processed what she's gone through in the last 7 months from the surgery date. And it's been 9 months now exactly of finding out and knowing she was pregnant, and around that time, give or take days.
Yeah.
But I'm sensing that I think there's this interesting healing and it's interesting because there's so much, it's hard to find English words to all of this because I've lived it in a different way. A lot of you listening to this, my team just today told me that the most popular podcast to date, out of all the podcasts I've interviewed, some really like big time people that you would think are big time, but the most popular podcast to date is my hysterectomy surgery. And it's because women are dealing with these miscarriages, with these endometriosis, with fibroids, with cysts on ovaries, and we're doing it in silence. And that's the only reason that's my number one podcast to date, is because a lot of people are dealing with this.
Yeah. And sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
I just want to talk about that because there is, and we were having a conversation earlier today about community and who are our inner circle people and who actually are there for us.
And understands
us. I've lived a life I grew up very independently. I've always taken care of myself. I've never leaned on anybody, and it's really hard for me to ask for help. And when I have, I've gotten hurt. So it's like, how do you know
or
when to
been
trust
used
it?
against you or whatever.
Yeah. And I know that so many people do feel so alone through whatever. It doesn't even, like, whatever it is, there is this feeling of aloneness that so many people are moving through. And I definitely moved through that. I went through my whole experience completely alone.
She had a miscarriage, and then they had to abort the baby
Yeah.
to get ready for this surgery. And then going through surgery, which honestly, to remove cysts of that size is no different, honestly, than
removing an
moving
organ. They say
yeah,
that-
because the surgery's the same, and I know they go in very similarly. They're cutting, they're blowing up your belly. You're doing the same procedures before and after. It's the same of what you're experiencing. They were
just
dealing with your
everything.
ovaries, which is probably even more intense than your uterus, because
Yeah.
I experienced the uterus. The ovaries are delicate. It's delicate because that is where the hormones lie, and that's where the ovaries lie. I cannot even fathom doing it alone. I literally cannot fathom the recovery doing it alone.
Yeah. And like, to go back on what we were talking about earlier, I grew up in Colorado, fully off grid, alone. Like, I've taken care of myself alone, and it's all I've ever known. And I didn't even realize that I was grieving that until Danette pointed it out to me, actually, just yesterday. That, like, I'm actually grieving that, like, I have processed this all alone, and that all I've needed this whole time is community and connection. And I didn't even know that. I really didn't until Danette, you came to me and offered that to me. I'm here. You came to me and said, I'm here for you. And it just brought me to tears, because I haven't even known what that looks like. I don't even know how to ask for support. And I know that a lot of people can relate to that. Like, how do you even ask for support? How do you even ask, like, I want to talk about this, or I need to talk about, like, this grief, or what does support even look like?
Because today I asked her, I said, what does your body need today? That you would be holding your child in your arms. And I know that you're trying to push this down because you don't know how else not to. But what does your body need today? And she just said food. And so today we ate at a restaurant that was good and nourishing. And we sat in the hot tub with a beautiful rainbow that came out of the rain today. It was supposed to not rain today, but I guess it was. But Colorado will tell you within 12 hours what it's going to do. but it was like this beautiful rainbow came out, and I know it was for her. And so I guess what we're trying to say is community is really important, and just to talk about it, maybe we can be a voice to what you never got, and to say, hey, you're not alone, and maybe even to ask for what you need, because I needed to ask Anastarr, what do you need today?
And she kept pushing for it too, because I didn't even know how to answer. And it was like, even just being at the table, eating food, we laughed, we cried, there was connection there.
That's what you needed.
That's all I needed. And I didn't even know what that looked like. But within that, like that laughter, that conversation, that crying, that relating, that's what I needed. Didn't even know it. And it was just as simple as that.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it really does feel like there's so many, and I know so many people that isolate themselves that.
I isolated.
Yeah.
I isolated. I didn't know who to go to. I didn't even know how to
Exactly.
talk about it. And a lot of people don't know. I want to talk to this for a moment, because people that haven't experienced this, they don't know how to show up. They don't know what you need. And everyone's going to be a little bit different in what they need. Because I'd gone through it, I knew it was okay to ask Anastarr, what do you need? What is your body asking? How can I show up? And I think that a lot of people don't know that it's okay to ask those things. It's okay to ask the person who's grieving, what do you need? What is your body saying? Do you want me to just sit here? Do you want to just cry? Do you want to do something? And sometimes saying, oh, I want to eat feels mundane, like I should be doing some celebration, but eating is not mundane. Eating is celebration. Eating is nourishment. Eating is connection and community. It's so much deeper than we even realize. So maybe just asking the person, how can I show up? And then if they don't know how, Anastarr said, give me options. That was her first response, give me options. I wasn't gonna push her a little bit. So if your person that you're asking, what can I do for you, doesn't know what you can do for them, because that's valid, they might not know. Just do what you would know you would want if that happened to you. So for me, this weekend was about, what would I have wanted if I was Anastarr back in my time, however many years ago it was? What would I have wanted? I would just want someone to witness me in my pain.
Yeah. And I want to speak to that too, is when you're in it so deeply and all you can do is.
Because you're in it, so we all understand.
Yeah, and when you're in it, there's a tendency to feel so numb. Like you don't even know what you need or how to process it or anything. So when you're in that numbness, even just coming back to the human, okay, what does my body need? Paying attention, and then, the food leads to connection. Like paying attention to that, because sometimes when we are in that numbness, it like, how do you know? So coming back to the body and paying attention to, okay, what do I actually need right now? Do I want a bath? Do I want food? Do I want to run? Or what is that? And then that leads to the deeper emotional connections, like the body, and then the deeper, what's underneath that. So I just wanted to presence that, because there's so many times when I've experienced that, of this feeling so numb, like I don't even know. How do you answer these questions? I don't know.
I'm having a moment, because I'm however many years, like 18 years from my experience, and you are right in it to the day. Can you share what this feels? Because I know what I've been witnessing in her from an outside perspective, but all I hear you're saying is you feel numb. Is there other emotions that you're potentially feeling that someone could be like, oh gosh, thank you for putting words to this?
Yeah, on a deeper level, there's been like massive expansion happening for months now. A lot of purging that I didn't even know
you needed to do.
I needed. Yeah.
Like, can you describe the purging?
There's a lot of people in my
purging
life.
out of your life.
Yeah.
So if you're purging people after something like this is normal.
Yeah.
Okay.
And trust in whatever is happening naturally. Like, this is such a big catalyst. And I really do believe I've experienced loss so much in my life, in family, in partnership, and babies. I've had 2 miscarriages, actually. And loss can actually catalyze some of the biggest growth spurts of our entire life. That's been my experience. And there's been massive expansions on every level, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, especially spiritually. There's been such big openings in career and everything. It's just catalyzed like the biggest growth. And I know that this little spirit came in to really shake things up and shift and expand in such big ways. And so I've been in that, and there's been a deeper healing of so much emotionally that was being held in my body, also that I've been releasing and healing like on a big level. I think what I want to say to this mostly is just trust in the process of everything, because it leads to something so unexpected. And to pay attention to the little signs along the way, those little signs and hints and messages that come along the way, and to be present and to be with the experience, because it's beautiful. It's really,
messy,
really
beautiful, raw, painful, enlightening way.
Yeah.
It's such a journey, and what I love that you're speaking on in such a in the moment of, because honestly, Anastarr, you need to know your power, because a year to the date of my child's birth, you would have never heard me talking about it.
Yeah.
I was never in a space to talk about it. I wouldn't have been able to even communicate how I felt without being a mess on the ground. And you're articulating in 9 months this really profound message. And I know on a higher level, I know on a human level it's painful. I know on a human level a lot of things are cracking and evolving and exposing themselves, and you feel like you're going through a lot emotionally, hormonally, physically, on a very spiritual, higher level perspective. What you're saying and what I'm hearing you say is that these souls don't come in and then go on accident.
Yeah.
They come in with a very clear mission, and they exit with a very clear mission. And there's only way for them to exit is to awaken you to something bigger and more profound of this heartache that's cracking you open to something that is you're meant to see, do, feel, experience for whatever's to come. And I know this with what 100 fiber of my being, of my son who came and gone, that I would not be where I am today with the women who I talked to without him coming and going. And you're going to be the same, and I know this. And every woman, if you choose to use it as a catalyst, to use these things that are going on in our wombs as a catalyst, as an alchemy for your greatness, for your remembering, for your wisdom, for your pain, to alchemize to your greatest lesson. I think that's the invitation.
Yeah.
There's so many women going through this.
Yeah. And I love that term, alchemize, because that really is it. We're here to alchemize so much of the experience, and we are alchemists of everything. We're creating everything. And we really can turn something that I always say, we can be the victim or the victor in everything. Like, we have a choice. We can turn any kind of hard loss, we can be a victim to it, or we can choose to let that catalyze us into much greater power. Let it empower us into who we're meant to be, and use our power to empower others.
Yeah.
That's the message. Yeah.
So if people are falling away at this time, let it. If people are coming in that are there, let it. If you're feeling certain things and new gifts are coming online, let it. If different patterns are falling away, let it. Let this soul be a huge alchemizer. This soul that came in and spin your heart, open you and open your eyes and your heart to so much more. Just say thank you to these souls ultimately.
Yeah. So much gratitude.
Is there one last thing that you feel like sharing? Like, I want you to imagine, say like you're standing in front of, this is your last time on this earth plane. And I ask this question a lot, but I want you to ask, like, imagine today, because I know you've touched and have this finite relationship with life in different realms, from your father to your child to other people in your life. You just shared with me someone you hiked with that lost their life in an avalanche. I'm like, she's tasted this finite of earth in her short years of being here. Let's just imagine you're speaking to, there's like beyond your eyes, women in particular, and they're looking at you and you have one final thing to say. What would your soul say to them?
I would just say trust your inner knowing, because you are wiser than you realize, than you understand, and trust your own wisdom. Trust in your own knowing.
Trust in your own knowing, your own wisdom. Thank you guys for being here in this very raw, like I'm very raw right now, and I know she is.
Yeah, this morning when I came to Colorado to visit Danette, my eyes started hurting so bad and I could barely open them. And
This is 2 days ago?
Yeah.
2.5 days ago.
And my eyes have just been in so much pain. I haven't been able to open them.
No, it shouldn't function yesterday.
Yeah, and this morning, or whenever it was, I don't know, I finally started crying. I didn't even know that all I needed to do was feel this emotion and release it and let it out, and my eyes feel so much better. And I was thinking it was allergies or altitude or whatever it was, and maybe it was. And there was all of this emotion that I was holding on to. And so that's another thing that I want to encourage too, is let yourself fully feel all of it and let it go, and
Let yourself cry.
let yourself feel everything.
I find it interesting. I always say that Mother Earth is mirroring, like whatever you're witnessing in Mother Earth is your own mirror of your internal universe. And today, Anastarr let herself really cry. She cried last night and this morning. It was late last night and then this morning. And today, Colorado weather just rained, like flying.
And then a rainbow.
And then a
appeared.
rainbow. And now there's no rain. And there probably won't be any more rain tonight. And it's just so magnificent, the love Mother Earth has. I'm like reflecting on this mirror, because her eyes are not hurting her anymore. And it's really phenomenal for someone who's not in it to witness, honestly. To witness this pain that was in your head. I could see it in your head all day yesterday, in your eyes. And today you're like, it's like you can see, you can feel, and you're open. And it's just, so yes, process your feelings, let yourself feel.
There's healing in letting yourself feel. There's healing in it.
And you're okay to do that. And you're not weak to do that. And you deserve to have friends to hold you in that. Or if you're going to do it alone, you have time to do that.
That's a really big point too, is you deserve to have friends in letting yourself feel that. Because I think a lot of times, and I know that a lot of people feel this, is that sometimes we don't even feel worthy of that or know how to receive that support, and feeling like we deserve that.
To just be in our ick.
Yeah, you are deserving. Like, we all are deserving and we all are worthy of that. And like, we're here to let ourselves feel it all and to love ourselves through it, wrap ourselves in love through it. And wrap each other in love through it.
I love that. I hope this has been what you needed to hear today. And if you want Anastarr back on, I actually want to interview Anastarr on these healing journeys that people go on, or these like they go to sacred sites, because she has a different interpretation on that I think is in a conversation that we need to talk on, because I know we're all on this journey together. We're all just, oh, I need to go to this sacred site with this person, and it could be either a good thing or not so good.
Yeah.
So I think it's important to talk about that. And I also want to talk to you about friendship in the future as well, because I think friendship is a big thing coming up for a lot of people, to be honest. Relationship in general, men, women, anyone you want to bring into your inner chambers of your heart. I think it's a big conversation, because it's where we are the most vulnerable and where we want to be seen the most and where we can either grow or hold back the most. So it's a big conversation to have. So I'm going to have her come back on. I want you guys to share this out and let me know if you want her on, and let us know how this has impacted you, because we're just like chatting with you in the circle with us, and we love you so much. Whatever you're going through, just know that you are loved, and there's a reason for it, and we're holding you in that, because we don't know you, but we can feel you. And this is not just our story, this is your story as well, and we love you.
Yeah, and I just want to say too, thank you, Danette, for this conversation, for this friendship, for you, and for all that you do for all women. You really are a pillar and a light for all of us.
Thank you.
Truly. And what an honor it is to be sitting here with you. Thank you so much.
I love you.
I love you too.
Thank you for being who you are, and the wisdom that you hold, and the codes you hold, and the love you hold.
Thank you.
Thank you for trusting me to be here on this time.
Yeah.
And more to come on that, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And so it is. And we love you guys. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in. And please share your comments. We want to hear from you. We want to hear your voice, your story, what you've gone through. All of it's valid. And love you so much.
Yeah.
See you next time.
This is what I wanted to say too. I just wanted to say that you're not alone, and that you're seen and heard and loved through everything, and that you're not alone. So thank you.